welcome back to my channel. I'm not in my room today, amazing. I am in Greenwich, yes, where I shall remain for the next 21 days. Orphan Black season finale was yesterday. I'm gonna put the screen away. Was yesterday, and I need to talk about it. For one, I don't think it's gonna hit me that like it's not on anymore until next week, where it's like, there's a new episode, but there's not. So I'm slightly like, notes are on my computer this time, even though normally they just transfer to my phone. I love this season finale. I thought it was great. And yet I know people like my mum was like, a bit weird, it sort of doesn't go with the rest of the show. And I'm like, well, I think they did this more as like a love letter to the fans, because, you know, nobody wants to be a bitter end to sort of end it on, and then you'd sort of have to explain if they killed like one of the main clones off. I was worried about Art. How happy he stayed alive. I was so happy. I was like, yeah, you're still alive. MVP. Must admit, sorry I ever doubted you. So I was talking about last week how there was a hashtag going around about what Orphan Black means to me. And I thought I did a nice week, but it's like a really long sort of. I am in a minority. I am female, which is a big minority. Not equal, sadly, much as we wish they were. And I am also disabled. I'm visually impaired. And to see these minorities represented, be it through Rachel and having a techie eye and sort of brain impairment stuff, which I do have, I have brain damage. To see brain damage and sort of well represented as well is something you don't often see. To see all these women who are portrayed their own character but so amazingly, but still flawed, but can be smart and funny and everything that people really are, like 3D characters, and them have sort of their own personality but have relationships with each other and sort of not bashing each other and sort of, but not being nicey all the time to each other, but like real relationships and sort of go to review because that's quite small, and have relationships with each other and different characters and like with friends and family. And you have ill clones, but the illness is not the most important thing about them, and it doesn't revert, like it doesn't control their whole life, and they don't mope about it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that like people in television shows mope about it, but it soon becomes the whole focus. Whereas like with Cosima, she had an illness, but she was still a scientist. She was still amazingly clever and funny and a good friend and sister and girlfriend. Do you know what I mean? Also, in case you haven't noticed, I'm repping the Orphan Black. I'm gonna wear it. I'm like, seriously, that is my dream. If someone during these whole 21 days is like, you like Orphan Black? I like Orphan Black. I'm gonna be like, yeah, we can be friends, totally. But also, they're strong women who look after themselves, but they're not invincible at the same time. And the writing's funny and clever and witty. It doesn't lose out because they're trying to sort of dull it down for the audience. There are times when I've had to watch it and sort of really think about it to sort of understand what's going on, and don't slow down the pace, or sort of they don't act like we're idiots, if that makes sense. Not that other shows do, but you know what I mean. But also it's about that they love it. They love this show. They love it as much as probably Clone Club does. And to see people put their soul into this show, you know, that you put your heart into, but it's about owning who you are and being you. No one can truly own you, even though they probably can. But they can't own you all the way through your being. They can't control your personality. They can't own your personality and sort of everything that makes you you. And that everyone deserves a life. Also that people change, because, you know, Sarah from the beginning to the end has changed massively for the better in the end, yeah. And like, I don't aspire to be a fictional character, but with these characters I do, and in each character I can see different aspects of myself. Like I can definitely see myself in Allison. Definitely. I can see myself in Rachel sometimes, not just the eye thing. I can see myself in Helena. Yeah, terrible to admit. I can see myself in Cosima, although I wish I was a bit more like Cosima. And I can see myself in Sarah. I'm not going to tell you who I'm most like, because who I would most like to be and who I probably am most like are two different things. And an aspect of your life is not the most important thing about you. Cosima, it's not her sexuality. With me, it's not my disability, even though I like to mention it a lot. Like, I'm so contradicting. I can't describe how much I will miss this show. Like I said, it probably won't hit me till Sunday when there's not a new episode. And also the timing of it is kind of good, kind of bad, because I'm in London now, so I don't really have time to miss it. And that, you know, that's ending. I'm starting a new chapter in my life. It's sort of like lump in the throat, sort of like signals a change. And then I'm trying to forge a career doing what these people do and to work on something that I love, like the cast and crew of Orphan Black, working on a little show about clones that they all love and sort of will miss. Also, John Fawcett, Grey Manson. If you're looking for your next ingenue, is that the right word, or is that more Broadway type West End? If you're looking for your next star of your next show, hit me up. That was such a bad plug. And I want to be like the actors and actresses on Orphan Black, because to act because it's what I love to do, and the story needs to be told, not because it's gonna be this big thing, it's gonna make you famous. I want to do it because I love what I do. And also it taught me that human cloning is not a good idea. Just put it out there. I hope whenever people say, oh yeah, let's do human cloning, let's do all the things they say about an Orphan Black, people will then go, hold up, no, you need to watch the show first, because this is why we should not do it. Yeah, because I'll end up sort of tweeting all the scientists and being like, yeah, this is why we shouldn't do it, because it's gonna end disastrously. So for the final time, here's my Orphan Black review of episode 10, To Right the Wrongs of Many. I'm not gonna cry. I did tear up when I watched it. I didn't full on cry though, which is quite good. And I will be honest, I did have a look, because you know the scrolly bar on Netflix, and sort of see screen shots of sort of what's coming. I did have to sort of scroll along to the end, just because I was like, I need to be prepared if any of them dies. I mean, it's like, if she dies, it's like, she could be anyone really. And we start with a flashback of Sarah and Mrs. S in the car, and they're outside Planned Parenthood, which I think is very sort of ironic, considering there's all this sort of discussion in America, well, not discussion, but like debates and stuff about Planned Parenthood, and sort of like, do we want it, do we not want it, even though probably a good idea to keep it, because not everybody has affordable healthcare, and you know, not everyone can afford to bring a child in or wants to have a child. You need to have affordable sort of healthcare and sort of ability to, if you're not in a position for whatever reason, to be able to get the help you need in that sense, with that thing, yeah. And she tells Mrs. S she's pregnant, and they're outside the clinic for an abortion, and Sarah doesn't know what she wants to do. She's thinking about keeping the baby, but Mrs. S is saying, you know, if you keep the baby, that's your choice, you know. And then we go back to present day Sarah and Helena, who are in the basement of Die Hat. And Helena is like Tony giving birth at this point. And they duck into a corner sort of as the lift opens, because they're in lots of corridors. And out comes Maddie Enger and another copper. We don't have a name for him. I'm just gonna call him a copper, so anytime I say, well, there's quite a few. A copper is. And they're trying to find Sarah and Helena. The alarm's still going on. And they end up right in the basement of the boilers, in the boiler room. And Helena's like, I can't go on. So we then go to PT, who is entering the medical cubicle. And guess who's still alive? Don't know how. Cody. I'm like, does this woman ever die? Does she? I mean, the amount of times someone's tried to kill her, she just hasn't died. And PT is sort of raging, being like, you know, where are they? And it's a bit like, well, they're in the basement boiler room. And then we go to the theme music, and I'm like, oh, happy to hear the theme music. I'm like, I'm never gonna, well, I probably will, because I'll probably watch it again and probably tell you that's what I'm gonna do when I have free time here. Gonna sit and watch the whole of Orphan Black, the whole of it now, because the whole of it is out, and I do have them on DVD, so I'm gonna get season 5. And then after the theme song, we go to PT, and he's still enraged, and he's like, how could you let a woman in labour escape? And he's trashing the place and sort of in anger, and Cody orders the doctor in, because he's sort of playing and sort of mumbling and slurring. And she orders the doctor and guard to leave, and she says they're searching and they'll find them, but they won't go far because, you know, they're still in the building because they jumped her before the alarm went off. After the alarm went off. Brain plane's not in gear. And then we go to Sarah and Helena, and Sarah's putting some cardboard down for Helena to lie down, and sort of takes her dress, jumper, jacket thing off and says that the alarm is their people, they're coming to help, and Helena needs water, so Sarah's going to go find some. And we trail Enga, who's in the hallway, up the staircase, and she stops the alarm, so she's on the same staircase that we saw Art coming down. And we switch to PT, who says it might have been an intruder, and he's like, no way, an intruder, how? Yeah. And Cody's getting annoyed. She said, you said we were secure. You said you had the strength to keep all those investigators next door out of here. And John's like, for now, yes. I'm like, well, not anymore. And we go back to Enga, who's still searching the hallways, and someone you sort of see someone come up behind her, strikes her from the back, and who is it? Art! I'm telling you, Art is MVP of this episode. I mean, they're all MVP. Like, Art has a special, I feel like Art has a special place in my heart now. I doubt him. I worried about him for so long, and now I'm like, Art, you're coming, bro. Yes, no, we were right to root for you. And he says, you're a shitty partnering. I'm like, yes, Art, I am sorry I ever doubted you. And Cody tries to radio Enga, unaware of what's happening, that Art is cuffing her to the railings of the staircase. And I was like, she's off the clock, Cody. I'm like, yes, Art. I was like, you're becoming fucking that person. And then the male security guard comes in, saying they're locked down, and that Enga is headed to the west entrance. And John is failing because he's sort of like all over the place. The stress is causing him pain, and they're going to focus on the west side of the building. And Art hears over Enga's radio, so he handcuffs her to the staircase, and he takes her radio. And then go back to Cody, who's going to help find Helena and deliver the babies and extract the mutation as they can. Let me extract the mutation. John disagrees, saying they can't isolate the mutation there. They don't know who's got in. And he starts staggering and slurring his words, and he says they need to move everything onto the helicopter. And John is fading. They call his doctor in, and John's saying he's fine. And he tells Regina to go find Helena. Tells them to stay there until they do, and they need to pack everything up. They're evacuating. They're going to take the helicopter and disappear. And then we go back to Helena and Sarah, and Helena is getting ever nearer to finally giving birth. And Sarah says she might have to have her babies there, and Helena's like, no, not very clean, not very safe. And Sarah is frantically trying to find medical supplies, and Helena tells her that, you know, can't have her babies there, and Sarah gives Helena a weapon of a chisel because she's going to go find some clean sheets and stuff to sort of help. So Sarah goes searching and leaves Helena there with her weapon. Remember the weapon. She goes out and she finds a chest of drawers and other medical equipment sort of wrapped in sort of shutting down. Well, it was already shut down in the first place, and they just reopened it. And she then spots Cody coming with her guard, and she hides, and they walk past her, and just as Sarah's about to get up, who comes to help her from behind her? Art! Yes, Art is like the hero of the hour. And Sarah tells him that Helena was giving birth, they need to help her, and she's going to get medical equipment and for Art to go to Helena. And he gives her a gun, and he says they're on their own there, that John is still protected, that they can't trust any of the authorities outside. But when they're ready, Felix and Donnie will be ready. Come help. Donnie and Felix are in the getaway car. And then we switch to John, who is scrambling for more meds. He's upstairs in the office, Dave of the inevitable, because he's not going to get better, because he's not. And his doctor says he thought they were organising the helicopter, and he says they are from the roof, and he's like, ditty bang bang. I'm like, I don't know if that's slightly weird. And John gives his doctor his injectable meds to the doctor, and his doctor doesn't recommend it in his condition. And John's like, you think you do, you don't, but you do. You think you don't, but you do. No one's gonna say no to you. And then we go to Cody, who is searching the hallways, trying to open doors. She then gets a radio call from the security guard that was with Enga, saying that they took about Enga and that they took the radio. She knows about Art. Well, she doesn't know it's Art, but she knows the intruder's listening. And she orders radio silence. She then stops at the last door on the right and spots blood on the floor where Helena is. No, seriously? We then go to Sarah, and she's hiding under the staircase by the medical cubicle, listening to two guards packing up the cubicle, saying that he wants them on the roof in 5 minutes, and they leave. And then we go back to Cody, and she's coming downstairs. She finds Helena. I'm like, oh. And she says, oh, Helena, let's try this again, with a gun in her hand. I'm like, great. Yay. And she says, this is more your style, isn't it? Down here in the filth and garbage. I'm like, excuse me? You need to chill. And Helena tries to keep away from Cody, but Cody's like, oh, you're having contractions, do you need to push it? And as Cody sort of talks, we see Helena still has the weapon that Sarah gave her. And Cody's like, it's a shame we don't have the nice clean operating theatre, but I've done worse in the field. I'm like, but you've done worse. You murdered your own son. I'm sorry. Like, no. And then we go back to John, who's just had his injectable meds, and Cody rings to say they found Helena, that Sarah isn't there, and John's like, bring her to the roof, and Cody's like, that's not gonna happen. She's having these babies here because there's no moving her. And John wants to come down, but Cody's like, stay where he is, send help and get ready to go. To which John is annoyed about. And then his doctor on the way out says it would be best if he stayed there. And John is too far gone now to sort of be rational or anything like that. Because the doctor then says he's putting himself under a lot of strain for a man of your age. And he shoots the doctor and sort of mumbles, man of my age. Sort of like that. The fact that that is the part he listened to and that he doesn't see sort of the point he was trying to make. Almost like he's having a temperature tantrum because he's not getting his way. He's not he's not winning. And then we go to Art, who is going to Helena. Only Cody is there when he gets down there and takes his gun and says he needs to help her because the last time she went near her, she was we all know what happened. I love it when Art asks if Helena is alright and she goes, most excellent. I'm like, and as Art is examining Helena, she sort of gestures to him the weapon that she has, and that they need Cody to come close. We then go to Sarah, who after the guards leaves, makes her way into the medical cubicle. She starts looking for medical supplies, and then we hear John talking. And he says, how fitting you return to your cage. All lab rats do in the end. To which Sarah's like, you never caged us. Not me and Helena. You've got nothing to do with who we really are. And John's like, you're the only set of twins we ever had. Fertile freaks, and one of them birthing in my basement. Oh yes, we found her. Obviously they say it a bit more sort of emotion than that. And then we go back to Helena, who's saying she needs to push. And what comes next is Helena sort of saying she needs to get up, and Cody panicking and she's about to deliver, and Art tells Cody she's bleeding, calling her over. And then Art grabs her arm as she comes over to have a look, grabs the gun, sort of disarms her, and pulling her forward for Helena to stab her in the neck with the chisel. Like, Art and Helena, great teamwork. Like, and I'm like, finally. And Helena spits at Cody as she's sort of falling. I'm like, this time Cody is out for good. There's no coming back from that. And Art says to Helena, we're gonna do this. And then we go back to Sarah, and Sarah's like, let me help my sister, she needs me. And John says, I know, that's part of the problem with twins. You really only need one of them. We hear John load his gun, and I think Sarah load his gun. And Sarah load her gun ready to shoot, but Sarah gets there first. So as he sort of comes around, she sort of shoots him, and then Sarah sort of stumbles backward, sort of backs up a bit, and we see John get up and charge towards Sarah in the plastic thing. So he's behind it, suffocating her in the plastic curtain. But he is too weak. He is too weak. Because Sarah overpowers him. And John sort of stumbles, falls, and can't get back up. And so Sarah's sort of laying there, catching her breath for a minute while he says, lucky shot for a mutation. Then comes the line that I think will stick with Orphan Black and will sort of be a memorable moment. She says, I survived you. We survived you. Me and my sisters together. This is evolution. My favourite bit. Finally! Yes. And John says, I made you. I don't deny, even as my biggest mistake, you're my biggest success. I live on in your daughter. You'll remember me. And as he's speaking, we see Sarah grab an oxygen cylinder, and then as he's sort of saying, you'll remember me, bashes his head in, shutting him up for good. She's like, shut up. Finally. They love bashing people's heads in here. We flash back to the car with Siobhan and Sarah, and Siobhan is telling Sarah that it's a woman's choice to know what she does about whether to keep the baby, that it's the most personal choice she can make, and Siobhan doesn't mind her choice as long as she's thought it through. Sarah has made her mind up, she's keeping the baby. That's her decision, because it's Kira. Kira, we find out. She's having Kira. And then we go back to Sarah, who's with Helena and Art, as Helena is about to finally give birth. And then the scene is really sort of beautiful. It really sort of did a testament to sort of the CGI and technical team, like the special effects team, but also Tatiana and Kevin Hanchard and Kathleen Alexandre and the rest of the crew, sort of what they do, and sort of a testament to the show. It was really beautiful, and it's a beautiful scene where it juxtaposes and switches between Helena giving birth with Sarah guiding her and Sarah giving birth with Siobhan guiding her. Sort of how Sarah takes on that role that Siobhan played and sort of almost mimics and sort of takes it as inspiration almost. Yeah, I don't know whether this is too dark now. And I love the line of "Good job, meathead." Like, I love that line. It's like, it sort of goes back to season 1 where, well, the whole show where they call him meathead, where she calls him meathead, and Helena's had a boy, having twin boys, and it's like Helena and Sarah, twin girls, and now she's having twin boys. Oh, it's just so cute. And it's like, Helena is finally having her babies. We've waited so long for this. And if anybody thought Beyonce's twin shot was iconic, they obviously have not seen the Orphan Black episode where she's holding both of them. I'm like, that is iconic. And apparently the scene of Helena and Art down in the basement was the last scenes that they did, which I think is really poignant considering they were in the very first episode and sort of, yeah, like they started it together, they ended it together. So I think they said that was the first shot they filmed then. That although apparently everybody, I think about the last 2 hours of filming, everybody who worked on the show and stuff came and was there for the last scenes. I think that's a testament to the show that everybody wanted to come and celebrate. Even if they're on the show or not anymore, they wanted to come and sort of say goodbye to this piece of history. And then we flash forward a couple of months, like, did they watch my video and take ideas? Probably not. And we see Helena has her own little house in the Hendrix's garage. I mean, it's, let's be honest, it's much better than a backyard graveyard. Seeing Helena with her sons though is so, like, oh, warms my heart. I'm like, Helena, you're happy. I'm so happy. And we go to Cosima and Scott, who are helping Sarah study for her SATs to get her high school diploma. And apparently Scott used to tutor a lot. And Scott and Cosima are back in the lab, not dyad, but back in the lab and doing what they love doing. I'm like, so like, oh, my heart is so full. Oh. And then we sort of switch to Sarah, and Kira's telling Sarah she forgot her lunch, and Sarah gives her money to buy something. She needed to go shopping, and that they're all meeting up tonight. And Felix has been in New York, and also the house, Mrs. S's house, because I still struggle to say Sarah's house. The house is packed up, and then we go to the Hendrixes, and Donnie goes to see Helena and the babies, who haven't got names yet, so they are being called Purple and Orange until they do. We see Allison in the garden, and it sounds just like the dream baby shower. We find out that Donnie has a new job, which I find so ironic. He's a regional manager of a concrete floor company. Like, they must have known that he's good with concrete floors, because they've laid a few in their back, in their garage. Plenty of practice. Then we go to Cosima, Delphine and Scott, who are working on the whiteboard of clone that they've all cured. They've cured with the vaccine, including Crystal and Tony. I'm so glad we saw, even though we didn't like get to see them in this episode, we saw they're all right. They're sort of, yeah, they're all right, and sort of, although they're not the main five, we do have some closure on them. I mean, I sort of can imagine what Crystal just going along here. And Cosima's saying that they need to find the leaders faster, otherwise they won't find them all before sort of too late. And Art sent them a new clone to cure Camilla Torres from Cartagena. Cartagena? Yeah, no, it's not Cartagena. Cartagena. Cartagena? Yeah, I think it's Cartagena. And she says, Clone Club was Colombia, we're all over the world, you guys. That really made my heart so, because it's like Clone Club, like in general, we're everywhere. I mean, I know there's a couple in England and there's a convention going on in England, but I'm hopefully going to, even just to meet people who like the same show as I do, because I need to know more people that like this show. That's all I talk about. And then she says, we don't know how many of us there are. We don't know how many of us are already sick. And Delphine says not to focus on that, you know, focus on what they have done, what they are doing, that they've cured Nick's clone and this new one, Camilla Camilla Torres will be 7. It's still funny though, because Cosima says, oh, she's so beautiful to the picture of Camilla Torres, and it's sort of really funny still to sort of say, that's Tatiana, calling Tatiana beautiful. Like, it's really weird. It's really weird after all this time still. And then we go back to Sarah, who is sorting through things, and she finds a card from Mrs. S to her on her 9th birthday, telling her how brave she's been coming to Canada. Because I think, yeah, it is Canada, even though they sort of say North America. And then we see Felix. He's had a New York art opening. I'm like, yes, Felix, it's nice to see you're doing well. And Felix doesn't know why Sarah is selling the house so soon, even though they talked about it. Sort of, it's not. He didn't think it was a done deal, and he doesn't want her to go back to her old ways. She's come so far, and that's what I love about the second half of this episode, focusing on what the clones are now doing, because they've spent so long in this rat run type scenario where they sort of are trying to buy their freedom and trying to buy a life of being just them, and now that they've got it, sort of moving on, and Sarah doesn't know she can move on, not go backward, and she sort of almost has no goal. I mean, I can see that, I can see it's a big life thing, and sort of suddenly to sort of almost complete it, it's sort of like you're sort of a bit lost, it's sort of no purpose. Whereas for so long it's been taking down the illusion. And Felix asks, sort of, he says he wants to be there to help them move, and he asks, what are you and Kira gonna do, you know? And she says, oh, we're looking at it like a kind of adventure. We'll sort of see where we end up when the school year starts. And it's like, we've heard Sarah say that before, back in season 1. And Felix is like, are you okay? And she says, yeah. And it's like, she's clearly not okay. And then we see Sarah head to take her test, and Helena rings her to check she's coming to the party. And Sarah tells Helena that she's about 10 years older than all these other high school dropouts that are there to do the test. And sort of as they're entering the classroom to take the test, Sarah walks out, and sort of in her mind she's going back to that moment in the car, sort of half flashback, half sort of memory, where Mrs. S is saying, you've never taken responsibility for yourself, Sarah. How are you going to be responsible for 2? And Sarah says, you said it was my choice, didn't you? Mrs. S is like, yes, but your choice does not a mother make. You need to show me that you can be still, and I will be here for you. I will support you whatever it takes. Sarah's like, I don't need your support. I don't need nothing from you. And then we go to Helena's baby shower. Not imaginary anymore. And Helena is opening a present from Cosima. It's a colourful monkey teddy like Kira's, only it's got science with the periodic table on it. And Colin is there. Scott's man in the barbecue. Hell Wizard is there. Adele's there. They're all there. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Like, Delphine's there, Art's there, Felix is there, Donnie's there, the clones are there, all the kids are there. Although I did wonder where Alison and Donnie's son is. I can't remember seeing him. I was like, where's he gone? I can't remember his name. But and then we go to Sarah. Oh, it's like a little family, and I love Cosima when she's holding the baby, and she's like, I don't think I want to hold you, so she gives them to Delphine, and it's like, I don't want to hurt you. And then we go to Sarah, who's outside, and she brings a box from her house to give to Alison. And Delphine and Sarah goes into the kitchen, it's empty, then Delphine comes in, and it's so weird seeing Delphine interact with the other clones, because she's only really interacted with Cosima. Sort of really weird, like really weird. And Delphine wants to tell Sarah how much she respected Siobhan, and that she taught her how to be brave, that if she had questioned her more, that she could have done something to help. And Sarah's all like, no, don't stop talking. And everyone's asking Sarah how her test went, and she lies, saying it went okay. And then Felix's phone buzzes, and he's up to something, and he looks out the window. He's waiting for someone, but tells Colin to keep it on the down low. And then Art goes to visit Helena and the boys. I was so worried about Art, and I'm so glad to see he's alive. I love it that although Beth died, he sort of sees you have 2 new lives here that without Beth might not have happened, because they wouldn't have all come to this. It's almost Beth's legacy that Helena's babies are here. Helena might still be out murdering clones. Probably all won't be here. Not in this context. And Helena is worried about Sarah. I mean, they're all worried about Sarah. Then we go back to the kitchen where they all are, and Art comes in, Ooh. And Donnie says is looking through the box of toys, and Alison says about Helena giving the twins rocks to play with, and says that it would be nice to see Sarah more often now that she's finished her test. And Al asks how Sarah's doing, and she says she's good, but Alison's like, no you're not. I'm like, I mean, although Alison, you think, oh, that's a bit rude, Alison, she does have a point. And she's confused about the sale of the house, that, you know, the kids are all bonded now, they're friends. This is why they fought what they fought for, to be sisters, to be free and to live and to be sisters. And Sarah says, yeah, but they need to change, that freedom looks different to everyone. And Alison sort of disagrees, says, you know, they feel Siobhan, her loss about Siobhan, and that Kira has cousins now, a stable home, to which Sarah sort of shouts, in the house where her grandmother was shot dead. Alison, take a bloody cue for once. Sorry. Alison does have a point though, let's just say. Got an bum. And then Sarah walks out and we see her sit in the garden, and Cosima joins her. We're gonna get a final clone scene. I'm just like, oh. I love Cosima's dress. I love Cosima's dress. And then Alison comes out and I love her shoes. I love her shoes. Like, she apologises. Well, she's sort of like, sorry for what I said, never mind. And then we see Felix head out to a parked car. Who is inside? Rachel Duncan. I'm so glad we see her now and her new life. I'm glad. It's a bit like I'm glad we got that insight into Tony and Crystal. I love the line though where Felix is like, who's this then? Got a new manservant already. Rachel's like, this is Yusuf, my Uber driver. And we find out she has a glass eye, no friends, and no identity unless she wants to be found. And in a sense, I do feel sorry for Rachel. Can't go into the baby shower, and she's probably the loneliest because she doesn't have the support that the sisters do. And I do believe Rachel will rise again. Like, she can be anyone she wants to be now. Then we go back to the bonfire and Helena joins them. And Sarah tells them that she didn't go to her test. She doesn't know what she's doing. She carries around all these mistakes and she doesn't know how to be happy, that there's no one left to fight, that she's still a shit mum. And I'm like, I beg to differ. And it's sort of like Sarah's been there all this time for her sisters, and now it's time for them to look after her. And Alison then tells them about the other day Gemma was driving her crazy, so she shouted at her and scared her and she meant it, but it's okay to not know what she's doing. They're there for each other. And then Helena says about how every time she looks, the babies are eating sand, and she turns around, sand, where does this sand come from? She doesn't know, so she lets them eat it, and they're all like, what? And then Cosima mentions how she panicked when Felix handed her the baby, that she's not maternal at all, and it's like makes her wonder that is it because she's scared or she's selfish? And I love that line because it's sort of like, yeah, does that make her a bad person because she's not maternal? Like, does that make you a bad person? I don't think it does. You know, it's a big thing nowadays. People get so aggy that, you know, don't want children. I mean, I know from experience, I wouldn't say I don't want children. It's not something on the horizon, or I think unless my life dramatically changed or whatever, I don't think I would. But I don't think that's bad to think that, nor do I think it makes you selfish. And Cosima says, we're all scared, Sarah. And Alison's like, yeah, we all make mistakes. God, I was a drug dealer for Pete's sake. And then we go back to Rachel and Felix, and Rachel asks how the family. Fee tells her that they're happy, that they got what you promised. She asks about the babies. Felix says, you know, can't come in. And Rachel says, ever since I was 6 years old, I've compared myself to each and every leader. Believe me, the last thing I want to do is see another face like mine. I believe Rachel, and I don't. Like, I think she wants a family. She wants a family that she never had. You know, she wants friends and family like the sisters have. But I think she knows there's too much water under the bridge now for her to have it with them. But she can go forge her own life out. And Rachel hands Felix an envelope. And the thing that broke my heart. Felix says to her, have a nice life, Rachel. And he heads back to the sisters and he gives them the envelope, which contains each and every leader, 274 of them. And Cosima's like, this is everything we need to cure the leaders, so that they're never gonna have to go through everything that we did. And I love Helena's like, enough about them, I want to share something. And she shares her journal. She's finished her book. It's a story about my sisters. I call it Orphan Black. I love how Sarah sort of like laughs at it, like, I get the pun. Like, her feelings are a bit like, we got it in there. And she says, I'm gonna translate it from Ukrainian. It says, my story is an embroidery with many beginnings and no end. But I will start with the thread of my sister, Sarah, who stepped off a train one day and met herself. It was so beautiful. beautiful. And then we sort of see what everyone's doing now. We go and we see Alison is learning piano, becoming a musician. Again, I think the duet idea between her and Donnie and Helena would be amazing. And Donnie comes in and we see he got his drum kit. It's a bit like my brother's drum kit. And he sort of does his striptease along to the really sort of slow music. And then Alison changes it to salsa music, and we can sort of see there's still the sort of Alison's changed, but she hasn't. That their relationship is probably better now. Sort of they're continuing on. And then we go to Camilla. We go to Cosima and Delphine, who have tracked down Camilla Torres and are giving her the inoculation. And when Camilla says thank you, Delphine says thanks some very determined women. I'm like, that hurt my heart. And then Cosima comes in and she's like, because they don't meet, her and Camilla, and says they need to go to Brazil. So after sort of saying, is Camilla asking you to dinner? It says there are 14 more there. Then we go to Helena, who has finally settled names for her twins. It says it's time for you to take the names of real men. She sticks name badges on them. Arthur and Donnie, the two men that helped her the most. That's the bit that gets me teared up. Seriously, like, it's nice to see that Helena, we all think she's a bit rude, but like, she appreciates Art and Donnie. And then we finally go to Sarah, who is no longer in black but blue, and she's still in the house. And with Felix and Kira, and they're going to the beach. She's happy. She's being the mum she's always wanted to be to Kira. She's free, and they go to the beach. And a parting shot of the living room gonna set me off, and that's the end. Wow, it's over. I love the ending. It's almost like it's not over because they're still going on. You could imagine them getting on with their lives. And I like how only the first half was set at Dyad and the fallout, because really I wanted to see them afterwards, to know that these women that I follow, you know, all these seasons, to know they're still going, that they're somewhere out there, that they're okay. Like Rachel, I like the way it ended with them. You can always make up what happens. You can sort of make up like kind of Delphine and Cosima get married, you know, because Helena meets Jesse, the tow truck driver. You can sort of make that up. This is the ending I wanted. I didn't want it to be unresolved. I mean, yes, there are sort of some issues, like, you know, what happened to Maddie Anger and all that. But like I said, I think this was more a thank you for watching. You may not have all the answers, but you know these women are okay, because that's really what you wanted. And apparently, there may be a movie one day. One day. I'm still waiting for that. And I like how it was a happy ending, because for a show that has shown these hard battles that these women have fought, I don't know whether, like, showing there is hope and stuff, that whether it would sort of portray that sort of message of hope if they just killed them off. And I mean, although Cody and John are finally dead, and like the loose ends, I don't think it mattered really, because mainly people wanted to see Delphine and Cosima get the happy end, Sarah get her happy ending, Helena have her babies and be happy with them, and Alison and Donnie be as crazy as they always are. A thank you, and giving the ending that we all wanted, but without sort of compromising on the drama that is Orphan Black. I mean, what a trip this show has been. I've loved the trip. What a ride it's been. What a ride it's been. Thank you to Orphan Black, one of the most underrated shows there are. You know, thank you to everyone on Orphan Black, because they are amazing. You know, one day, if I win an Oscar, you know I'm gonna thank like Tatiana Maslany for being amazing. Thank you everybody that worked on Orphan Black, because even though I wasn't on it, the show that made my life, you know, for this small show, meant so much to me. Thank you, whoever watches this, because thank you, mum, because we all know you watch this. And also, you can guarantee whatever the cast and crew of Orphan Black do next. Like, I'd like to know what John and Graham are going to do next, because after this, I want to know what they're going to do next. But whatever the cast and crew do next, you can guarantee I'll be there cheering them on. And for anyone that may stumble upon this show, you know, 6 months from now, 2 weeks from now, 5 years from now, and starts at the very beginning of the show, welcome to the trip. Thanks for watching. Bye.